In the world of smartphones, we're always looking for the next big thing, and recently Sony released the brand new Xperia XZ Premium. You guys have been asking me if the XZ Premium is worth your time and money, so in this video I'm bringing you the top 5 features of the Sony Xperia XZ Premium. What's going on, Tech Squad? Andrew Edwards here, editor-in-chief of GearLife.com. If this is your first time here, this channel is all about tech, gadgets, and gaming. So if you're into that kind of stuff, feel free to hit the subscribe button down below and the bell notification icon to find out when new videos drop. As I mentioned, we're taking a look at the Sony Xperia XZ Premium. I've been playing with this one for about a month, and I'm checking in now with my favorite features of this device. And you know, it's actually pretty interesting. Sony is a pretty big name in consumer electronics. They make great TVs. You may have recently seen my Sony Z9D review video, as well as my Sony A1E OLED TV review. If you haven't seen those, I'll link them down below. They also make the PlayStation 4, one of the most popular game consoles of all time. But in the smartphone game, they're not really talked about as being in that top tier level. You've got Apple with the iPhone, you've got Samsung with the Galaxy S line, and more recently, you've got Google coming out with its Pixel. So with Sony releasing the new Xperia XZ Premium, is it something you should seriously consider? Now, this is Sony's headline smartphone for 2017, and as you'd expect for being a flagship, it comes with all the top specifications. Just like Sony's previous flagship, the Z5 Premium, there's a 5.5-inch display here with 4K resolution and a Snapdragon 835 processor that can give rival handsets such as the Galaxy S8 and the HTC U11 and the LG G6 a run for their money. But where Sony's really looking to stand out this time is with the rear camera. The headline feature is the 960 frame per second super slow motion, which allows you to shoot some pretty dramatic videos. But with that being said, let's jump in to my top 5 features of the Sony Xperia XZ Premium. Big shout out, by the way, to Sony for sending over the phone and to Best Buy for sponsoring this video. All right, number 1 on my list, as I mentioned in the open, is this display. It's a 5.5-inch display, 4K resolution, and it supports HDR. Now, there is a caveat to that 4K resolution. While the screen is technically 3840 by 2160, the vast majority of the time, you'll be looking at an upscaled 1080p version of the Android operating system. Now, you might rightly be asking why this is the case, and the answer would be battery life. Rendering 4K resolution every waking minute that you're using the phone would pretty much destroy the battery. So instead, you'll see native 4K resolution in certain instances. Those include when using built-in Sony apps to look at things like images or videos, or supported streaming video services like Amazon Prime Video, which does offer 4K videos and even HDR content. Since Sony hasn't departed from a more conventional 16:9 aspect ratio, the Xperia XZ Premium's display does not put black bars on the sides when you're watching widescreen content. As I mentioned, the display also supports high dynamic range in supported apps like Amazon Prime Video. 4K HDR is impressive on a 75-inch TV, like I've got here with the Sony Z9D, but it's even more mind-blowing when you've got it on a display that fits in your pocket. And if you're keeping score, Sony is the first smartphone maker to put this level of display on a mobile device. Moving on to my next favorite feature on the Xperia XZ Premium, it's got to be that predictive camera. The camera utilizes Sony's own motion eye capture system, which draws on the company's digital imaging know-how. Essentially, this equates to the first mobile stacked memory sensor to have dedicated DRAM, which should help with image processing speeds. The stacked memory has other benefits as well, such as predictive capture, which buffers images when it detects motion. That allows you to capture images immediately before and immediately after you press the shutter button. So in essence, you get 3 images and you can choose which of the 3 you want, or you can just save all 3. The new 1.23-inch sensor sees the megapixel count reduced to 19 megapixels from the 23 megapixel version used in the regular Xperia XZ, but the pixels themselves are now 19% bigger, which means you're gonna get improved reliability in low light situations. And in keeping with the XZ Premium's photography and video focus, Sony actually put a dedicated shutter button on the right-hand side. So when you're holding the phone this way, right where your forefinger is, you've got a 2-phase shutter button. So you could hold it down halfway to focus and then push it all the way to take the picture. And if you're anywhere else in Android, you can long press on that button to open up the camera app. Next feature here on my top 5 favorites on the XZ Premium has got to be that super slow motion video that I mentioned. In fact, I might even call this the headline feature of this device, which by far eclipses rival handsets and even Sony's own flagship 4K action camera. But again, just like the 4K display, there are some caveats here with the super slow motion. When you jump into the slow motion mode, the image is immediately cropped, putting you in a very tight field of view that can be difficult to manage. There's also a loss of resolution as the Xperia XZ Premium can't pull off its party trick at 4K and instead records at 720p. Not a huge deal because that's what pretty much every other smartphone camera does for slow-mo as well. On-screen tutorial will tell you that once you begin recording at 30 frames per second, you'll need to press the shutter button again at the right time to begin capturing in super slow motion. Since there's no pre-buffer on the slow-mo, you'll need to be very precise when you begin slow motion capture. You'll naturally be inclined to go a little too soon for the first few attempts. The other issue here is that ample lighting is absolutely necessary. In fact, I would even go as far as to say the super slow motion isn't gonna look good unless you're in pretty much broad daylight. Most videos I shot indoors were both extremely noisy and soft. One scenario Sony is pushing for slow motion is capturing people's pets, but there's a reason that Sony's sample videos are all shot outdoors. Next up on the top 5 features has got to be the audio. Sony attaches great importance to the audio quality of the XZ Premium. It's one of the main features of the smartphone next to the screen and camera. The XZ Premium is equipped with stereo speakers, which are both located on the front of the device. So you can't be too mad at the top and bottom bezels because that's where the speakers are. The smartphone supports the LDAC technology, which prevents loss of quality when the XZ Premium is connected to wireless loudspeakers or headphones. The DC technology developed by Sony itself is also used to provide better sound when playing MP3s. And rounding things out, high resolution audio is also supported by the XZ Premium. So basically, no matter how you listen to audio on this device, whether it's through the front-facing speakers, whether it's through the headphone jack on the top, or whether it's through USB-C on the bottom, or even Bluetooth, it's gonna sound pretty great. And finally, last on my list of my top 5 features for the Sony Xperia XZ Premium has got to be PlayStation 4 Remote Play. Download the PlayStation app to sync your Xperia XZ Premium with your PlayStation 4. That allows you to use your phone as a second gaming screen or to access the PlayStation Network for downloads, multiplayer chats, and news updates. You may think it's a little crazy to use your smartphone as a PlayStation 4 display, but it actually works really well. With the XZ Premium's advanced processing and fast memory access, gameplay is always smooth and responsive. And taking it back to those stereo speakers up front, it makes the game even more immersive. The Sony Xperia XZ Premium is a handset jam-packed full of features, and from its impressive 4K display and huge power under the hood to excellent camera and solid battery life, it has all the ingredients of a flagship smartphone. Now, all that said, this phone is a little bit pricey at $799. That puts it in direct competition with the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, the HTC U11, and the iPhone 7 Plus, all fantastic and well-known smartphones. So there you have it, guys. That was your look at the Sony Xperia XZ Premium smartphone and my favorite features of this device. If you want to know more about this one, if you want a more in-depth full review of the phone or the camera itself, just comment down below. Let me know what you think, by the way, in the comments as well, and I'll meet you down there for further discussion. Don't forget, click or tap on my face at the bottom of the display in order to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you don't want to miss a video, be sure to tap on that bell notification icon as well. And you guys have been asking for this one for a while, and we just launched it, a brand new merchandise store where you can buy shirts and other things in order to support the channel. I'll leave a link down in the description below to that as well. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, I appreciate your support. I'm Andrew Edwards, and I'll catch you in the next video.